We are now.
Good.
That's the fucking best.
5 seconds.
Shit. Oh boy.
InfoWars.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to do this?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. This is the 40 and Slip, episode 38, War for the Planet of the Skunk Apes.
That's not bad.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I figured I'd keep with the vein. You know,
should have been InfoWars for the Planet of the Skunk.
Yeah, Richard's right. Maybe you ought to change it.
Shit. Richard, I got to give you fucking kudos on that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's happened.
Yeah, last week. Because I'm a fucking moron.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, I had messaged Tim earlier in the week because the last time we had him on, he was a great guest. We had an awesome time with him. And, you know, I just basically said, you know, hey, anytime you want to do the show, we'd love to have you back on again. And bam. He messaged me just the other day, and he was like, "Is Sunday too soon?" No, sir, it is not.
Sir, Chris messages me.
Said, I want to add something to that when I came.
You know, Tim, you were probably one of the most requested guests. People keep asking for you to come back. So,
well, I'm glad to hear that. But I have a question though.
You mean Monster X Radio?
Yeah, Monster X Radio.
Yeah.
Pull any punches here, Tim?
Fuck no. But that's why Tim comes on, because Tim knows that we're here to have a good time,
right?
And he wants to join it. So
sure. There's only a limited market on vitamins. I don't know why he went that direction.
Well, there's a limited market on Bigfoot too.
Yeah,
I know just from doing my own. Yeah, probably a little bit bigger. I mean, who goes to YouTube looking for vitamins? You know, people do go to YouTube looking for Bigfoot and paranormal type stuff.
Yeah.
So, but you don't make a lot of. I mean, Tim, I don't expect you to disclose your numbers, but you're not making a ton of money off of your YouTube. I mean, none of us are.
My analytics as of yesterday, the last 28 days, 1,200,000 minutes viewed on the channel, 400,000 views, an average gain of 703 subscribers a month.
Wow. And
a revenue of $358.
You can't retire on that shit.
You what?
You can't retire on that.
No. But you asked me a specific question. I'll give you a specific answer.
Hey, and I'm glad that you did, because a lot of people were thinking, well, Tim Fasano's in this for the YouTube views and the YouTube money. There isn't a lot of money in it.
When I started, when I tell you about the AOL dial-up, there was no AdSense. There was nothing like that. It was all a vanity thing. Called YouTube. You're the guy on the tube. You're the guy on television. You were posting videos either to get out information or just to see yourself, but there was no profit incentive. That didn't happen until years later. See, I never had a clue. I mean, as far as $350 goes, if someone's going to deposit that in your checking account every month, Steve, I'm sure you'll take it. Sure, why not?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I never thought that would be the motive behind why people are getting into this field now. And this is connecting to what I wanted to talk about. My belief is that money and the smell of money has corrupted the entire field. And it is all now a competition to get the most subs, the most views, the most clicks, and make the most money. And the only way you can do that is that you have to one-up your competition. And the only way you can one-up them is if they find a footprint in the woods, you've got to find two. If the next guy finds two, you've got to find three. If somebody gets a 20-second sequence of howls you've got to get a 30-second sequence. And on it goes. You simply have to do a better job than they do. So when you get guys like Kelly Shaw, who walks out into the woods and says, I hear knocks and howls, and I hear footprints and movement, and we see structures, and we got this and that. He's simply trying to outdo everyone else in the field.
Right.
An objective scientist.
Certainly managed that.
What?
Kelly Shaw has certainly outdone other Bigfoot researchers in the field.
Well, and you also have to have sightings. Now, I work the Green Swamp in Florida, and there's another group of researchers called the Trail to Bigfoot that works the Green Swamp. They work the same areas I work, okay? And it's a tall. Are you
How
familiar?
far away from Sylvanic is that?
Florida is diagonal from the Pacific Northwest. Steve, are you familiar at all with Trail to Bigfoot?
I've seen a little bit from them, yeah. Not much, but some.
Okay, there's a tall guy and a short guy. You got a guy 6'4", and the other guy's like 5'9". And the tall guy, every video, almost every moment of it, he's constantly seeing something out of the corner of his eye. This guy's name is Mark. And
oh, yeah. Okay.
All right.
I know who you're talking about.
I just saw something out of the corner of my eye. I just heard something up ahead. I just saw some movement over here. There were some knocks going on when we came into the area. And on it goes with this guy in every video. Just pull out any video that they've made, click any time stamp at random. Within seconds, you'll hear this guy saying that he heard something or saw something. And the shorter guy named Chris Connor, he plays straight man to all this. I know Chris. I'd met him once. He's a very intelligent guy.
Steve doesn't play the straight man. Just
no,
we can't do that. No, because I know what you're referring to. I am happily married to a woman.
Unfortunately, still do.
Go on, Tim. Don't let them derail you.
He tries to use scientific terms and jargon to impress the viewers, like vortex and azimuth, which is a compass reading. And he'll say that he got the same perception, but it's more than just Mark saying he saw something. They started doing slick intros with cinematic music scores and using slow motion camera movements and quick rifling of scenes and the fade out and the fade in and just about every transitional trick you can think of that's used in editing of documentary films and movies and so forth. All of that is what you do when you are doing entertainment. None of that has a damn thing to do with science. The reason I mentioned my stats was to show you the only reason I can continue to maintain those type of numbers is I have to compete against these guys. I have to take unwanted hours that I wish I didn't have to do because I can't just put up the raw videos like I used to anymore because no one will watch the damn things. I've got to make slicker videos. I'm learning a lot about editing along the way, but it's only because these guys are using these techniques to gain an audience, to make money. They've even compiled a DVD that they sold to Amazon Prime, so you can find it on Amazon, and I guess they're getting paid to do that. Their entire purpose seems to be for money. There's nothing about it that's scientific. They've no more found a goddamn skunk ape than I have, okay? And they're pulling people's legs because Chris knows better. Now, he used to be in the military. Now, here's the whole thing. In every one of their videos, they're wearing uniforms. They're wearing khaki-colored military pants with boots, dark shirts, hats, camo backpacks. Everything about their appearance strikes as a paramilitary unit. And that's the impression they're trying to get. If you're doing science, why are you dressing like a paramilitary unit? You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You do a lot of research in the green swamps. Have you ever looked for skunk ape in the Everglades?
The Everglades is a good 4.5 hours from here.
Ah, okay.
So I've only been down there a couple times.
That was a question from the chat room. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's hard terrain to work down there. The damn thing is literally underwater. But anyway, I'm the point I'm trying to make, and the reason you say, well, why would you care? Are you just jealous or something? It has nothing to do with jealousy. They're siphoning off viewership, people that should be watching real science. But if it's just entertainment now, I can go that direction. I can go that, and I can do it even better than them. That's why I posted that video last night I was telling you about, where I tacked on to the end with the log being thrown. And I put a disclaimer about my videos are real, but they present a possibility that is not the only explanation. And I can do this. I won't be able to do what I used to do. See, the thing is, the guys that I worked with, Kevin, who's the tall guy, and George, these guys are television. They work in television production. But they won't do that with me. They won't go, oh, I think I heard this and I heard that. And if you hear a sound in the woods, how can you just say that that's Bigfoot? You know how many varieties of owls there are that make calls? What?
I was fooled by an owl one time, and they make so many different sounds.
Yes.
And it wasn't just me. There was 3 or 4 of us that heard it, and it was something we'd never heard before.
And you guys are both triggering Richard right now.
Yeah, Richard doesn't like owls.
Recorded an owl.
We do have a recording of it, and we put it out to, well, it was Stover's group. We put it in Stover's group because we're from Ohio. All of us were at the time. This is when I was pretty new. And it was quickly debunked. And we didn't go out, and say, nah, we don't believe what you're saying. This is Bigfoot. We just accepted the fact that it was an owl, just one that we'd never heard before. It was really a weird sound, but it wasn't a Bigfoot,
Yeah, especially the first time you hear a barred owl.
Yeah, this thing was crazy weird, but it turned out to be an owl. And I'd say it was Michael Shaw. Remember Michael Shaw, Chris?
Do I remember? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who found what it was for us, and that was that. And it was over with, and we didn't go around saying, and the same with that Norm Glasser thing. As soon as we knew it wasn't what I thought it was, we quickly changed tunes on it, because we're not going to sit out there and put out false information just because we want to make some YouTube money or something like that. But most people aren't that way. Not most people, a lot of people.
With what I was saying was they right after Hurricane Irma came through Central Florida, they talking about Trail to Bigfoot, they were finding a lot of deadfall in trees that were lying together or just been pushed up against each other, and they were forming teepees. Well, the way they presented it was that these teepees were not a result of storm damage, but they were a result of Bigfoot pushing these trees over. Now, if you just had a hurricane come through your area, I think it would be more logical to think that the hurricane knocked the trees over, not Bigfoot.
Right.
Right. And then he took his compass, and then he would measure, it's 138 degrees. And everyone in his party's going, oh, 138 degrees. Oh, they did another measurement, 236. Oh my God, 236. And then they found another TP, and then they found a third one. Now, Richard might appreciate that. He told the one girl that's with them, I think her name is Betty. I think it might be his sister, I'm not sure. He said, I took a look on the map where the 3 TPs were located, and they form a triangle. And the girl goes, no way. He goes, yes way. They form a triangle. Well, you could take 3 objects, 3 empty beer cans, and toss them onto your living room floor. And you know what shape they're going to form, Steve?
A triangle?
A triangle. No way.
What do I win?
Have a cookie.
No, it goes further than that. The star in Orion, Betelgeuse, as it lines up with Sirius.
Juice.
And the belt
Beetle juice.
Orion.
Don't say it a third time, Richard.
It's called the Orion Triangle. It's in the sky. You can see it on a constellation map.
That's where the ancient aliens come from.
Well, they did a video where they're showing the star map behind him as he's standing in front of one of the teepees at night, and the implication, they lined up the 3 stars, and they lined up perfectly with the top and the 2 at the bottom. You know, the isosceles triangle form, and the implication, he wouldn't say it directly, but what he was stating was that they were building these objects to show where they were from, and they were actually from where the Orion Triangle is from, out in space. Now, this is what I don't understand, where you get a guy like Bigfoot Tony, who does breakdowns of people's videos. No one touched that. To me, that video was wide open for extreme scrutiny, but nobody touched it. I've been searching every day. I search the internet to see if anybody has made a comment about that ridiculousness. Nobody has.
Well, maybe
there's only one person I trust when it comes to breakdowns, and some say.
But if you're going to make such outlandish claims, then as far as I'm concerned, then it's game over. If you want to compete on that level, I'm able to do that, okay? And I can do it better than you do, okay? Because apparently people don't want science. What I mean by science is I could put up 100 videos in a row, and in all 100 of them, there's no skunk ape. Why is there no skunk ape? I don't know. He didn't show up today. How am I supposed to make the guy show up, right?
If it were that easy, it would be a discovered species by now.
Thank you.
I mean, it just makes perfect sense.
So these guys, in my opinion, and I hope they're listening, they're making a goddamn mockery out of something that I take serious. And that's about really all I got to say about them.
Well, here's the thing with tree structures and things like that. There's no evidence that anything other than nature makes those. I can walk out into any patch of wooded area and see that kind of thing. I mean, it's everywhere. Fallen trees, and they form weird shapes because it's just the way they fall.
I know it.
You can make any.
I was going to drive through a McDonald's the other day, and it was a little wooded plot nearby, about 1 acre of woods. And I looked in there, and I could see a triangle formation of fallen logs. Does that mean Bigfoot was near the McDonald's knocking these things over?
Well, some say that he goes in dumpsters and eats food out of it. I'm just, of course not. But it's, you know, you can see whatever you want to see when you go out in the woods, or even just driving down the road. I drove down a road the other day, and I looked off to the side, and there's a small patch of woods, and these fallen trees were everywhere. And some of them, you know, some of the limbs were hanging up in the air, and some of them formed teepees, and some of them did different weird things that you wouldn't expect, but they're there. And it's a very small patch of woods. And if it's in that kind of small patch of woods, you would expect it on a bigger scale in a place like the Green Swamp or the Allegheny National Forest, or, you know, the Pacific Northwest or something like that. So you can go into any place like that and form whatever you want as a conclusion.
Well, have you ever seen Colorado Bigfoot?
I've seen, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, all of his videos look like a commercial for 84 Lumber Yard. Just fallen trees, fallen lumber, and of course, all all of it is the result of Bigfoot in his mind. And then he'll use a sales technique that's commonly used by, I don't remember the pitch man, Billy Mays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you call within the next 10 minutes, you get a 30% discount. He goes, folks,
May he rest in peace.
You won't believe this, folks. There's an area right there on that ridge line, right there where that mountain is. We got in there last week, and I'm telling you, it will blow your mind what we saw in there. Those videos will be coming up next week. Look down below, click subscribe, hit this. Believe me, you will not regret it. What we're going to show you coming up, even as early as tomorrow, is absolutely astonishing. The guy is using sales techniques to get people to hang on and subscribe and go along with his site. And that's just wrong. And what really, those guys really don't piss me off. What really pisses me off is that the Bigfoot community never says nothing about those guys. But when I was doing, what?
They eat it up. They love it.
When I was doing videos in my early days, I got ripped to shreds. How come they're not treated in the same manner I was?
Maybe, I mean, there's a lot of us who have just left it behind because it was such bullshit. You know, it's become, when I first got into Bigfoot, I was excited and eager to learn and wanted to know things. And then I found all these people that you're talking about, and maybe not the specific people. Right. I don't know. I'm not going to make judgments on those people because I haven't seen a lot of their videos because I don't follow it as much anymore. But the people who are into Bigfooting nowadays just seem to just take people. You can't judge people. You're not allowed to. You can't make the judgments.
Real. Everything's Bigfoot.
Yeah, you're not allowed to make the judgments because if you do, you're the devil, you know? You might as well be Satan himself or Hitler or something. You can't make those judgments anymore.
As honest as the day is long, Tim Stover still does his videos, and unfortunately, he gets very little traffic. People don't sub because you know why? He's not pulling your leg.
He's never put anything in any of his videos that is objectionable. I mean, he'll tell you like it is. I met Tim in person. Tim's a great
guy, isn't he?
He's a good guy, yeah. And he's not putting anything into his videos. Like, he just had a drone video, and all it was the drone flying around, and you know, he's checking areas, but there's no Bigfoot. He's not making a claim of a Bigfoot in there, you know. So that's the type of video I wanted to see. I wanted to see what other people are doing as far as research, real research. I don't want to see every other sound is a Bigfoot or every tree structure is a Bigfoot or, you know, this rabbit in the snow track is Bigfoot because it's in a single line, that kind of thing. I don't want to see that shit. But that's the problem is Tim is Tim is one of the few that are doing it that way anymore. Very few. Nobody does it that way.
He's doing it just like he was 10 years ago.
Yeah, he hasn't changed a thing.
No.
And that's why his group is the only Bigfoot group I'm still in. I don't comment in there anymore. I mean, I'll go in every once in a while, but I don't, you know. But I still watch Tim's videos. He's the one Bigfooter that I still watch.
I am. Well, I hope you look at mine every now and then.
Every now and then. Every now and then.
Oh, I've always got time to watch a Tim Fasano Bigfoot
video. I've criticized Tim, your videos, Tim. You know that. I mean, there's been things that I thought maybe you were trying to pull people's legs at times, but you come across, if somebody just asks you the question, you'll tell them the answer, and that's why you're on our show, because we know that you're going to give us the answer.
Is there anything going on in the chat? Anybody want to ask anything?
Oh, our chat.
No, there's no questions for you. I ask them as they come up.
Yeah, our chat room. Our chat room. They like to fight amongst themselves. Have fun.
Pretty much the same group of people that come every week, and they all know each other. So
they just sitting there and bullshit.
And that's why I'm not.
And try to get things. And try to fucking derail Steve and the show.
And they do a fine job.
They try to get Richard's panties in a bunch.
What do you think about the Miller document, Tim?
The what document?
The Miller document on Bigfoot.
What is that?
Oh, never mind. That's
What?
the answer to the question.
What is? No, I haven't heard of the Miller document either. Can somebody explain?
I'm a
I
quick
don't
study.
know.
What is it?
I don't know.
Come on, I shut that off. Why is it still making noises? Oh, that wasn't me this time. That wasn't me this time. I don't think.
So we should move on to Alex Jones then.
Well, we've gotten Tim's.
Should we at this point?
His thoughts on the Bigfoot community and where it's going. And any final thoughts on that, Tim? On where it's going, and do you see it ever coming back to the way it was?
Well, no. I have a book that I'm reading, which is about Rene Dahonden.
Yeah.
Who was considered one of the four horsemen,
Right?
Pioneers of Bigfoot research. These guys came along at a time where there was no social media or anything. There was no way to get publicity, and they were doing their research because they believed there could be a Bigfoot out there. And Rene Dahonden
They attack each other.
in 30 years, he only found one footprint and never had a sighting.
Yep.
And if he was doing YouTube today, he would be overlooked. No one would care. They say, "Oh, that guy, he don't find shit." I could go to Trail to Bigfoot. They find it every time they go out in the woods. And that's something that really I've struggled with, because the guys that are honest, it's what you would expect with a rare species. You don't find it every time you go out in the woods. A tree snaps. Oh, well, shit, that's got to be Bigfoot, right? What else could it possibly be, right? Well, there's all kinds of critters out there. And will it ever return to what it used to be? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't.
Again, like I said, money and attention has really corrupted. It's corrupted science. There was a paleontologist, not a paleontologist, a primatologist, Dr. Esteban Sarmiento, Colombia. He's been on a lot of Bigfoot documentaries. And he said that the pressure in primatology is, like Professor Leakey found an ancient human bone that may have been 500,000 years old in Ethiopia. So now the pressure's on. The next guy's got to find something that's 600,000 years old. Right. And then the next guy comes along and finds something that's 1 million years old. Then it's 1.2. Then do I hear 1.4? And the reason you do that is because it's hard after 10 years of research and admit you have never found anything. So these people fudge it. Scientists do it because they want to continue with the research, continue with the money, and keep going on. So no, I don't see any going back to the way it was. Not as long as it's an entertainment genre.
Yeah.
The real scientists have to operate under the radar. They can't be doing YouTube. They can't be doing social media. The real scientists have to just operate like the old guys did.
I'm going to tell you, any primatologist out there would be thrilled to discover a Bigfoot. I guarantee it, because Absolutely. they would go down in frickin' history, you know? So when people say that there's no science behind any of it, those guys would love it if they could. Obviously, there's not enough evidence for them to be able to get funding and do things like that. But once there is that piece of evidence that shows them that, okay, this is a distinct possibility, they're going to be all over that shit, you know, because they're going to want to be the guy who discovers it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever met Dr. Jeff Meldrum?
I've interviewed him, but I haven't met him in person.
Well, I met him in person. I got a photograph standing next to him, and he's a great guy. He's a nice guy, but he makes a lot of money.
Yep.
On Bigfoot appearances, Bigfoot books, documentaries. Would it be in his interest to just state one day, look, after examining the Bigfoot issue for the last 20 years, I have found no conclusive evidence that a Bigfoot exists, and therefore I am abandoning my Bigfoot research?
No.
Well, he did, didn't he? Work with Standing.
Well, he means to make an actual statement, Richard.
That is an actual statement.
Well, to us it is, but it's not to the general public. Obviously, he needs to keep...
Even Finding Bigfoot thought Todd Standing was hoaxing. Even Matt Moneymaker. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
He was Standing as a colleague.
Yeah, and I don't know why I don't know why Meldrum did that, and I don't know why.
I'll tell you why.
Every time he goes on a documentary and they edit it to make him look like he's hanging out with people, or he always blames it on the editing, which pisses me off. But I don't have any control of the way they edit the show.
You want my opinion?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely, that's why you're on the show, Tim.
Standing has a certain look to him, and he has a beard, and he looks like a college professor, and he can talk like a college professor. And I think that at some point,
I was going to say jackass, but
yeah.
So Meldrum felt that he was on his level. I look like a wrestler, so he's not going to give me that type of credibility. But a guy that looks like one of his peers, he would. And that's just my whole thought on the matter.
You could be right. And I don't think the term colleague, obviously we're all colleagues if we're all looking for the same thing, in a sense. And I think Meldrum, who is an academic, that's a term that he's used to using. And so I don't think it meant what everybody thought it meant. I don't think it meant that he thought Standing was on his academic level.
I think that Standing had a PhD. No.
Right. It didn't mean anything like that. It just meant that we're looking for the same thing, or allegedly.
Right. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I think
Todd Standing has paid me to say.
Yeah. Well, I think he did get paid for his appearance in his latest documentary, and I have a lot of issues with that documentary, but we won't go there.
The ghillie shoot one.
fucking Standing, jumping around, and
I know,
fucking cut shots of him with fucking on his ATVs.
But here's the thing: he sold it, and he's making. I don't know how he does it. I mean, on the surface, we can look at Todd Standing as people who have been involved in the Bigfoot research community and say, what a fucking idiot. But the general public eats that shit up because he uses big words and makes it look good. And he puts people like Les Stroud and Jeff Meldrum on his show or on his movie. And so that's who he's targeting. He ain't targeting the Bigfoot community. He could care less about us because we're small. He wants the general public. And that's what Todd Standing's been really good at doing, is getting the general public to watch his shit.
Right. And he got on the Les Stroud show.
Yeah. Yeah. Genius. If that's what you're after. If you're after getting the most eyes on your shit, you go after the people who, like Les Stroud, who's got a huge viewership and people trust the guy, and Jeff Meldrum. Everybody in the Bigfoot community, at least at one time, trusted Jeff Meldrum and his opinion because he's a PhD and he's pretty much the only one we got, So there's been others, but Jeff is the one that everybody knows about. Every freaking Bigfoot documentary ever published in the last 10 years or 15 years probably has Jeff Meldrum in it, so people know who he is. So who would Standing go after? Obviously Meldrum. It just makes sense, and Bindernagel, because Bindernagel's been on a lot of Bigfoot shows now. May he rest in peace. He was on a lot of Bigfoot documentaries and shows over the years. So you go after those guys if you want to get the most eyes on your stuff, whether it's real or not. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
While I'm thinking about it, and squeeze it in the end, it's already August, and so it's been 1 year now since Timberjaw Bigfoot put up a video. What is your basic thought on his disappearance?
I don't know.
Stop paying out.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can figure. YouTube did a lot of changes
with the PewDiePie thing, and when YouTube started cutting people's monetizations down. That's why he bounced. He was clearly only in it for the money.
Yeah, there was never anything that he put across that was convincing at all, ever to me.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, the thing behind the bush, why didn't he fucking stay and wait for it to come out from behind the bush? The giant revealed he was obviously signaling it for it to move away when he banged on the tree. I mean, come on. He was clearly a hoaxer, and he was clearly in it for the money. And that's Richard's thought of the day.
And I have to agree with Richard's thoughts on that.
Right. He had a Bigfoot in front of him, but he chose to do a selfie shot of his pretty face while he had Bigfoot 100 feet away from him.
But he was charismatic. He was good at what he did as far as getting viewers to come and watch his stuff.
He was a con man.
He did have a really nice voice.
Wait. Pretty much everyone in that fucking community is a con man. They're all out to sell a book or fucking get paid for appearances. It's all a bag of bullshit.
Or a Patreon account or Google AdSense or something.
Yeah,
we try to make a little bit of money with the show. We don't succeed. Yeah. We try. You know,
so everybody's Dave, that money has corrupted the entire thing now.
Well,
I think for fact it has.
Well, knowing things that we know behind the scenes from some of the people, yes, absolutely. And it's not just
indicative of the Bigfoot research community. It's the paranormal ghost hunting communities, the UFO alien communities. It's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Loch Ness does tours looking for the monster.
It's easy to make up shit about something that's unknown because there's no way to go against it. There's no way to disprove. I mean, you can do all the debunking videos you want, but there's always going to be that crowd of people who need to be fed and and so you're always going to have this shit. Always.
And that's why guys like Rick Dyer, they know people were he knew people were hungry for that, and that's why he gave them what they wanted to see.
And the more bizarre the claims, the more you tend to get viewership. And Dyer knew that. And I've talked to Dyer personally off the record several times. So I know a lot of what he thinks, because he's told me. And he knows what he's doing. I mean, he knows exactly what he wants and what he's doing. Now, I don't think, obviously, he hasn't been around for a while either, but,
Well, he's making it rich in the car. He's got a used car lot here in Florida.
Right. I know.
He's making a ton on that.
Good for him.
What he's good at.
If ever there was a born used car salesman, it would be Rick Dyer.
But Steve, I want to ask you an important question.
Yes, sir.
Animal Planet's program, Finding Bigfoot, is wrapping up with their 100th episode.
About frickin' time.
Now, considering how long they've been on air and 100 episodes, and in my opinion, essentially finding Squatoosh.
Yeah.
Do you think that their efforts have hurt or helped the Bigfoot cause?
It could go both ways. I think they brought a lot of new people into the community, which both helped and hurt. There's a lot of people who weren't around, when they started. And because you can go down the street. I talk to a lot of people who, wear a Bigfoot shirt or something out. And have you ever watched Finding Bigfoot? And then I'll tell them that, I've actually interviewed Cliff a few times, and I've talked to Renee and Bobo, and I don't think I ever talked to Matt. But so in a way, they brought a lot of new people in. But when you bring a lot of new people in, you get more of the same, and so it's done both, I think. But they haven't proven anything. And the show was never to prove anything, obviously, because once you prove it, the show's over.
There weren't a hell of a lot less Woo Warriors before Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah, but I don't think Finding Bigfoot brought the Woo Warriors in.
Well, I just think, it brought in a lot of housewives and stuff.
It brought in a lot of people who wouldn't have probably considered the subject in the first place. And now, because of that, you get all types, and every time there's like a UFO documentary, you get a lot of people researching UFO stuff on TV. Well, this was a weekly show. You know, it was on every week. So it kept them thinking about it and kept them thinking about it. And then now that they go onto YouTube, and for example, and that's all they see is the woo warriors and the hoaxers and the people finding Bigfoot every time they go out, they want to be a part of that. And so they become that. And so it's just a vicious cycle. So probably overall, it probably hurt the cause more than it helped.
That's what I'm thinking.
But all it needed to do is bring in one good person who was going to go out there and use scientific methods, who had the abilities to do that, or get a team together that had a build, and it didn't. So at least as far as we know. But then again, like you said, the real researchers, the people who would actually be able to do it the correct way, aren't going to be on YouTube and aren't going to be on the Facebook groups. They're going to be out there doing it. And whether finding Bigfoot would have brought that sort of thing to the light, it's doubtful.
It's not entertainment.
No.
Actual
YouTube
research is not entertainment.
No, it would bore you to tears and you wouldn't watch it.
No.
Exactly.
You wouldn't.
And I've stated this for a long time. If people want to have, you know, actual research, scientific research, then go out and fucking do it. You know, put the money into that. Instead of fucking putting money into these douchebags that just go out there and have their little fucking rah-rah parties in the woods, where most of the time they're fucking kumbayaing, or they're drinking, or they're fucking smoking weed. I've been out on these fucking expeditions. It's a bag of horse shit.
It's not an expedition at all, generally. It's a camping. As you're going out camping.
Yeah.
You might as well be looking for, it could be a deer hunting camp for, it's the same thing.
Well, most of the time I find you're looking for a good buzz.
I have to agree with you. The most success I've had, I went camping by myself in a primitive area, and I got real focused on research. But when I've been with a group of about 10 or 12 people, it turned into a frat party.
You get too many people there, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a gathering of,
right,
and it's going to be turned into a party, because that's when people get together, that's what tends to happen.
Right.
And whatever the intentions were when they started, it doesn't matter. It's what the result is at the end, you know. Now, if Todd Standing was for real, his way would be the way to do it. Go out there and stay out there for weeks at a time. Now, he's not real, obviously, because you've seen the evidence that he's put out. It's bullshit. But if he was actually researching and doing what he said he was doing, that would be the way to go, is to stay out there for a couple of weeks, maybe a small group of dedicated researchers who had some sort of scientific measuring equipment and things like that, and were trained in that type of area to find a new species. Then that's the way to go, is to stay out there. You can't go out in the woods for a day and expect to find anything. You're not going to. You might come across a track, you know, if you're lucky. Yeah, but that's about all you're ever going to find.
These expeditions need to be long-term.
Oh, yeah. Weeks or months.
You know, I loved, when it came out, I loved Monster Quest. I thought it was a cool show. Yeah, you know, they highlighted a bunch of different shit, but I've constantly criticized that show since it came out, even though I loved it, saying you can't just take a week or a couple of days in the fucking woods or in the quote unquote area and find anything. It needs to be way more in depth.
And unfortunately, 90% of us, even more than that, probably 99% of us can't spend more than a day or two. It's just not feasible, because we have to earn a living, and we have to, you know, we have lives. We have to do it that way.
Yeah, because most of your Bigfoot researchers are weekend warriors.
Yeah, as long as we got amateurs out there in the field, that's the result we're going to get.
Right. You'd have to be financed to go out there for a month.
And very few of us can get financed.
And the people who get financed are fucking pulling bullshit.
Generally, yes. And you know, there's only one financier for the Bigfoot world, and he seems to get the wool pulling over his eyes too many times. So,
did Richard want to ask me something about Alex Jones that came up earlier?
No, we threw the Alex Jones thing out the window.
We were going to talk about how Alex Jones was kicked off all the social media platforms all at one time, and whether there was some sort of conspiracy going on there. So
That's because of his connections with Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know. He made some statements. I know. I don't really follow that stuff, so I don't know. I have a lot of opinion on it, but I know he's made some pretty. He's always been controversial, and of course, obviously, get some viewers and stuff.
That's what sells.
Yeah, it sells. Controversy sells. And in fact, when I talked to Rick Dyer personally off the record, and I don't think he'd mind if I said this, that's what I said, man. Controversy sells. And I know that you know that. He agreed with me. Controversy sells. And that's where you get your viewers. But whatever he said this time, Alex Jones, was, I think, a little over the top for most people. And whether or not Facebook or YouTube or whatever other platforms he got tossed from are run by liberals or conservatives, I don't know that matters. Sometimes you got to cut your losses with some of these people, and maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I don't know that there was a controversy behind it as far as the platforms getting together, because that's what a lot of people think, that the platforms all got together.
Talk about it as a conspiracy. I wanted to talk about it of whether or not you considered it an attack on free speech or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, free speech does have limits, though. I mean, there's certain things. I don't know. What was the statement that he made that got him? I can't recall.
No,
that's how much I follow this stuff.
They said that he was spewing hate, and he was creating an unsafe environment. But they would never give any quotes or direct you to a video that would support their argument. And the fact that all these platforms within several hours dumped him meant that this was a collusion. You're looking for Russian collusion, there it is.
Do you think that this is...
People don't know.
Do you think it's been... Russians? No, I don't think the Russians...
Here's something a lot of people don't know. Have you ever seen that famous video of Trump and his wife coming down the escalator just before he gives his speech announcing that he's going to run for president?
Yes.
Okay. He was a little late coming down because he was on a podcast up in his office. And the podcast he was on was with Alex Jones. And Alex Jones said he would do everything he could do within his power to help get Trump elected. Now, the night that Trump was elected, at the moment when Trump realized that he had won, he picked up his cell phone and he called Alex Jones and he thanked him for all of his help. Because Richard may not know this, but Alex Jones was instrumental in helping get Trump votes and putting out the message about how the media had skewed the polls and had lied to us.
That's not really an issue.
Free speech issue. It would be like the phone company cuts off your connection, Richard, because they don't like what you're talking about on your phone. Or the electric company cuts off your electricity because they say you're using the electricity to fuel computers that are watching objectionable material.
But they have every right to do that because they are privately owned businesses.
You're right.
It would be an attack on free speech if it was the government. If Alex Jones was in jail or had been fined, that would be an attack on free speech. This is private businesses deciding to terminate their association with him.
When corporations create a monopoly by using anti-competitive practices, which are a violation of the Sherman Act and the Clayton Anti-Competition Act that were established by the Supreme Court over a century ago, they now have become the de facto government. They are the ones that are running where free speech goes. When everybody and their brother is on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and they're not on any other platforms, they are the ones that are the arbiters of free speech, and they have to protect the Constitution. If they don't, they will legally one day be forced to in court. But your argument, no, you said they go somewhere else. There is nowhere else to go.
He could go on Twitch.
Well, Alex Jones, Alex could create his own platform, I suppose, or anybody.
Well, there are unintended consequences.
Yeah.
You know what the most downloaded app was last week on Apple?
What is it?
Infowars.com, 6 million downloads.
I have no doubt that Alex Jones and because I've seen some of the Infowars stuff. I have no doubt that they were instrumental in helping sway the election. I have no doubt. But whether or not, I mean, free speech is a misnomer pretty much in this country. You know, we don't really have free speech, even though we think we do, because of things like YouTube and Facebook being privately owned corporations that can do whatever the fuck they really want. You know, luckily for some reason this show hasn't been shut down. I don't know how.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is important, is that it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
The minute they start banning one guy because he's controversial and he says crazy shit. Now, whether or not I agree with Alex Jones doesn't matter.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, if they can take him off, they can take us off, and they can take anyone else off for any reason whatsoever.
And then just claim it's because they're a privately owned corporation like Richardson.
And the fact of the matter is, there is no definitive line. Show me a fucking definitive line that says you can't cross this, and I'm okay with that. But when it comes to YouTube and Facebook and whatever else, fucking LinkedIn, whatever it is, there is no definitive line. And if you try to go plead your case to them, they're like, oh, well, too bad. There's no line. Give me a goddamn line. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's not there. And you try to ask them about it, and you get the goddamn runaround.
There's obviously moral lines that you shouldn't cross. And if Facebook, like if you were calling for somebody's death, obviously, that would be a reason to get banned, obviously. You know, and I don't think anybody would argue with that. If you're calling to go rape women or things like that, that's a line that you don't cross. And if you do, you deserve whatever you get. But as far as I don't know, you know, what the whole controversy is behind Alex Jones. I know he's a controversial figure, but I don't think he's done any of that particular stuff. Maybe he has, I don't know. But if he hasn't, then, you know, I agree with Chris that I mean, who said it? I think it was it Reagan who was talking about the slippery slope back in the day? Or I know it was a Republican president talking about slippery slope. I think it had to do with taxes, but it's still, that's it. Once you do this, then you open the gate to do that and that and that. And then there is no free speech anymore. And
right.
You're screwed.
For every Tommy Robinson they throw in jail, there's 1,000 more they're going to.
What? So it's okay to throw in people that it is completely justified to put in jail. So we'll put 1,000 more people that it's completely justified to put in jail.
It depends. I don't know that story either. I don't know that story either, so I can't comment.
No, the overriding message to Tommy was that eventually the men in England are going to have to uprise and take Britain back. There once was a time when the sun never set on the British Empire.
And there was a fucking time the sun never set on the Roman Empire and the fucking Macedonian Empire. All empires fall.
Well, how old a man are you? How old a man are you, Richard?
33.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with the thought that in your older years that you'll be living under Sharia law?
I don't know that I will be.
No, because it's not the English are not only surrendering their country, but they've bent over and applied the Vaseline themselves. And I have no clue as to why they're doing that. Why would they be protecting these animals?
Have you ever met any Muslims? They're all right.
I drive a taxi for a living. Half our fleet is Muslim.
Well, so you are then.
I think Tim is probably referring to radical Muslims, not regular everyday Muslims. Regular everyday Muslims are awesome.
Anything need to be exterminated.
Right,
I mean, for every Muslim terrorist, there's Christians killing abortion doctors. Radical?
What's that?
That's all Tommy Robinson was trying to do, was show who the rapists were?
Yeah, and because of his interference, they had to call that a mistrial, and all of them people went free. So who did that help, ultimately?
Interference, because he's shooting a camera.
They told him not to repeatedly, and he did it. So, yes, that is against the law. That's the way the law works.
It's amazing how a nation that provided us with the Magna Carta is now behind the United States. The people that overthrew them are ahead of them.
Hey, I love America. The food's great.
Richard has a different opinion than a lot of his countrymen, I'm sure.
Well, let's ask Gary Shaw. Gary's in the chat room. Gary, what do you think about Tommy Robinson?
Oh, Jesus.
And read it out when you finish typing. But
I don't even know who the guy is, so I don't have an opinion myself. But I understand both of your sides. I mean, I don't think that the UK or anywhere is going to be under Sharia law. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think the public eventually will put a stop to it. It's just not. Sharia law is horrible. But
a true countryman, Nigel Farage, believes that this is.
Oh, don't even.
I don't know. I don't get into the politics.
Nigel Farage is a great Brit and an honorary American.
He is a fucking frog-faced wank pheasant who should have been killed at birth.
What's a wank pheasant?
A wank pheasant. That is what he is. All right.
What exactly is a wank pheasant?
A masturbating bird.
Well, yeah.
I can't think of any insult that you would understand that would describe him well enough. So I'm going with wank pheasant.
Okay.
I'm standing by it. Yeah, you can have Farage if he's an honorary American. Please, we'll pay for his plane ticket.
What do you think of Brexit?
Oh God. We've had this discussion with Richard.
I wish that honestly, like I'm a Remainer, but you know we had a vote, and more people voted in that referendum than have done in several general elections, and it was to leave. So, if the government didn't want to actually leave, I wish they'd rigged the vote instead of dragging this on as long as it's dragged on. Because all we're hearing over here at the moment is Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. And, you know, just fucking put up or shut up. That's where I'm at with Brexit.
Well, it gives me hope that Britain has not completely lost its mind.
Okay, that is the third time you've said that. And I would like to point out who your president is. If we're going to go around insulting countries. All right.
Probably, man, it's turning out to be the greatest president in the history of this country.
Well, I do have to agree with
God.
Trump says some crazy shit. Don't get me wrong. He says some crazy shit. But there's a lot of the steel mills are starting to open back up. Now, whether he's done it or not, obviously he's going to get the credit for it. But a lot of things have changed. I mean,
unemployment is at a historical low.
CNN actually did a story. His approval rating's only like 40%, and CNN is obviously not for Trump at all. But they did a story the other day, and they showed that the unemployment rate was lower. The gross, what is it? The GDP was better. All that stuff was better. Now, is it because Trump is the president? I don't know. Is it because people feel more empowered and are wanting to do things more now? I think that might be more what's going on, but it isn't. There are things financially improving in this country since Trump took over. And it's usually that way when there's a Republican president. Regardless of your political views, the unemployment tends to go down and things like that. Not always, but tends to.
I mean, when Obama was elected, half of America thought that you were going to be living under Sharia law when that happened.
I agree. You're right. And we're not. And I think a lot of the times we just jump into those sorts of things. We want to think the worst. You know, as human beings, we want to think the worst. And hopefully we hope for the best. And that's what I do.
The problem is that this country is divided, and it was divided long before President Trump took office.
It was divided before Obama took office. It was divided.
And I've said for a long time that the problem with this government is the fact that it's a two-party system. If you want to fix the fucking problem, get rid of Democrats and Republicans. People need to run on platforms, what they believe, not fucking run down a party line. Yep. It's horse shit. Go out there, say what you believe in, say what you want to do for the country, and that should be it. You don't have to be a Democrat. You don't have to be a Republican. You don't have to be a fucking independent. You're just a human being with ideals. And that is it. If we want to fix the problem, that's the fix.
Unfortunately, that's never going to happen.
No, because they like having us divided.
Well, it makes sense. You know, it makes sense. The government can control the people if we're divided.
The 1% don't want the 99% to know they've got all the power.
Right. And it's not that way just in this country.
No, it's worldwide. It's how humans work.
Some governments are way more open about it. Obviously, like dictatorships, you know, they're way more open about it. But it's all the same. It's all the same. Anyway, that ends the political.
Yeah, that ends the political segment on the 40 and Slip. And we've been talking for 2 hours now, Tim.
We probably
yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. All right, Tim, I'd like to thank you for coming on. As always, we enjoy having you on the show. This has been the 40 and Slip, episode 38, War for the Planet of the Apes, Skunk Apes, excuse me, or should it be Info War for the Planet of the Skunk Apes?
I like that better. Yeah, Richard was good on that.
Should I change that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nah.
You put Info War in the title, you get a lot of hits.
Sure. Or it might get taken down.
Steve,
yeah.
Have your permission to repost this on my YouTube channel?
That's up to Chris. This is Chris's show.
Oh,
I know. I seem like the most intelligent one on the show, and that it should be my show, but it's Chris's show.
Chris.
Yeah, feel free, Tim.
All right, thank you.
If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button.
Can I repost it on my YouTube channel?
Sure, Steve. Okay. Leave a comment, subscribe. Everybody just repost it. Who gives a fuck? Check out Matt Knapp at youtube.com/Bigfoot Crossroads. Check out Para Breakdown at youtube.com/Para Breakdown. As always, check out Richard's comic strip, Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin on Facebook. And show Dreadfund some love at dreadfund.com and youtube.com/Dreadfund. And maybe, if Richard's fucking lucky, next week we'll do the Urban Legend Video Game Myths show.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. See ya!
He'll probably figure out a way.
Fuck off.